I'm going to show you a really quick and easy confit duck leg recipe that my grandmother taught me to make when I was a young lad. It's confit duck leg with cabbage, apple and pumpkin, and it starts like this. Some shallots. These have been peeled already. I just chopped them all the way through, nice and chunky. This is a sort of braised dish that comes together really quickly. So the more chunk there is in there, the more flavour you're going to have. Now, garlic cloves have been peeled, and I'll keep them chunky as well. Put my knife all the way through it, and the beauty of this is when you pick it up with a fork, you've got a piece of garlic on it. My pan's nice and hot, and a bit of oil in there will get things started. Extra virgin olive oil is my favourite thing to use. You could use a little bit of duck fat, or you could use some butter, but I'll start with olive oil because that's what I like to get the garlic and the shallots started. You can hear that sizzle already. Now, at this stage here, I like to add some herbs. I've got some oregano here, which I strip straight off the stem here like that. And you can see fresh oregano has great flavour and it's so easy to use. There's nothing better than having a kitchen garden, walking out to it and gripping off the herbs like that. You can almost hear them scream, they're that fresh. Into the pan with a little bit of tarragon. Now, tarragon's a little bit harder to get hold of. Some people grow it, but if you go to your veg supplier, if he doesn't have it, let them know and they'll be able to get it for you. A day or two's notice and they should be able to get the beautiful tarragon. It's got a lovely aniseedy sort of flavour and it goes really, really well with the duck. Now, at this stage, this is sizzling on beautifully and I'll add the butter. The trick with the butter is to add it when it's just bubbling away nicely so it doesn't get too hot. It'll just add to the flavour as it melts and goes all the way through. Now, I'll turn that up a little bit and we'll get some flavour happening. When you're using fresh herbs like this with butter, oil, garlic and shallots, it really packs a big punch. And I like to add a little bit of salt to it at this stage and, of course, some pepper. Now, it's perfect just like this. I could just melt this, let it cook a little bit and then dip some bread into it. It is that delicious. Now, the other thing I have here is the confit duck leg. And this is a product you can buy in your supermarket. And you know what? It's pretty good. What they do is they do all the hard work for you. They cure it in salt and herbs, and then they cook it in duck fat. So it's nice and tender and delicious. And if you see all the jelly around it, that is the flavour. That's concentrated duck stock. So make sure you don't throw that away. That's the best part of it. This is melting up beautifully. And I'll add some cabbage here. A good couple of handfuls of some shredded cabbage. I love cabbage and it goes so well with duck. Now, to make it even tastier and give it a bit of colour, I've got some pumpkin. I'm using butternut pumpkin and I've just taken the skin off and cut it into a nice dice. About 1.5 cups of that is perfect. Apples, just to sweeten it up a little bit. I'm using some really nice apples here and I've taken the skin off them and the core. And because these apples are quite soft, they will fall apart when you cook them and go into it and make a kind of sauce. Now, I'll just stir that around here like that, and you can see it comes together fairly quickly. Now, we need some liquid to make it all come together. I like to use some white wine, in that goes, and some apple cider. Or you could use just about anything you want, but apple cider and white wine go really well together. And to sweeten it up, just a little bit of sugar. Stir that around like that, and you can see I've got enough heat in here to bring it all together. Now, the duck, all I need to do is just pop it on the top here like that, and making sure I use up all of that duck fat and jelly. That goes into the pan here as well because that's where the flavour is. Pop the other duck in here as well. Take the top out of that one. Rip that off there like that. That's easy as that. Tear it off and then in that goes. Make sure I get all of the jelly and the fat in there. Pull that apart like that. And then the trick with this one is to let this simmer away for a minute or so and then pop it into the oven. Let it cook for about half an hour to about 45 minutes. Everything will soften up in all those juices and the duck is already nice and tender, so that will colour on top. This will be delicious and in the oven we go. You know what I like about confit duck? It's nice and crisp on the outside. And have a look at this one. It's got great colour and I know it's already cooked because when you get it confit already, it's going to be nice and tender. All you have to wait for is the cabbage and the apple to cook down till they're nice and soft. And you get a nice buttery sauce as well that'll go over the top. That looks like a great simple dish. A little bit of garnish on the side there and it looks fantastic. All I need to do is just cut off a crusty piece of bread and that is a cracking looking dish. I'll have a taste of it because I want you to see how tender that duck is. Just falls off the bone like that and it is going to be... that is delicious. It's got a lovely duck flavour to it, but it's not too strong. and the pumpkin and cabbage and apple give it that sweetness that bring it all together. A little bit of crusty bread into the sauce. This is a great dish, and I'm so glad Rosie's not here.